Let's talk a little bit more then about the military. How did you end up joining? Was it voluntary or?
I went to church, and on the way home, that particular Sunday was Pearl Harbor.
Mm,
Uh, at the time, I was causing all kinds of trouble at home. Um, my mother was ill, and she got iller when I acted up, and so I decided on the way home that Sunday that I was going to join the Marine Corps. Uh, sure enough, uh, I think the following Thursday, I went to the recruitment center and asked what I had to do to get in the Marine Corps. I was 17.
okay.
They gave me a form that I had to bring home to have my parents fill out. And I guess I was causing enough trouble so that they thought that was a pretty good idea. So they signed me, and when they asked me when I wanted to leave, I said the 27th of December because I wanted to be home for Christmas. I forgot about New Year's. So anyway, on the 27th, I spent New Year's in San Diego.
Okay.
Miserable because of shots and all the running around you do when you first get in, and of course they were so overwhelmed in the Marine Corps recruit depot in San Diego that they burst out of the barracks almost immediately, so they had to set up tents.
Oh wow.
Set up tents on the parade ground. So that's where we went, in a tent yet. And I found out later because I went to radio school, and that was in San Diego, and I found out later what it was like to live in the barracks. It was night and day compared to living in the tent.
What did you use for latrines when you were in the tent? Like, did they have the trenches? Did they have facilities?
No, they had facilities.
Okay.
We used the barracks, or I really can't remember now, but I remember there was no problem.
Okay.
What was the big difference then between
Hours or whatever.
what was the big difference then between living in the tents and living in the barracks? I know you said there was a big change.
The food, for one thing. You came through with canteen and mess gear, whereas in the barracks you had long tables and you were fed like regular people.
So it was a lot nicer then. Okay.
Oh yeah, and the food was delicious in the barracks compared to and the only reason I know is that when I went to radio school, we lived in the barracks.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to ask what prompted the change for you to be able to live there. Cool. And so, what happened from that point? When did you get, I don't know what it's called, deployed or?
As soon as I got out of radio school, I got transferred to the 1st Marine Division, actually the Fleet Marine Force, and so that was in North Carolina. So the very first thing was getting aboard train and At that time there were no air flights. We went everywhere by either train or ocean.
Yeah.
That's a long train ride, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Did you sleep on the train, or did they just stop and you get out and camp out?
The Marine Corps went Pullman the whole time.
Nice.
So
So you're.
that was going by Pullman all the way to North Carolina, and I had two 96-hour passes, and then got on the train and went all the way back to the West Coast. Hit aboard ship.
What ship were you on? What was it? Because I know they're all named, right?
Oh yeah, that one was the MS Ericsson, and it was a Swedish ship that got. No, it was a Norwegian ship that got confiscated because Germany had invaded Norway by that time. And so the U.S. seized the vessel. And it was a fast transport. So we didn't have any gunships along. The boat was fast enough so that it could do its own
So it could probably outrun anything that it ran into.
outrun the submarines or whatever
That's kind of cool. What
might have come up on the ship.
was
So I went to Wellington, New Zealand, at the ship. And when they showed the 1st Marine Division movies, they showed the ship coming into Wellington, that MS Ericsson.
cool. What was a normal day like for you when you were on the ship? Like, what did you do? Like from the morning to the night? What was it like?
Read. We had the paperback books, and they were all over the place. Everybody brought one, so they swapped around. And so much of the time, even though it was December, much of the time was in the summertime for New Zealand.
Okay. What was the main purpose of the ship? I know you said it was really fast, but what was your?
It was a transport.
So you just move
They used
people
it.
from one spot to another.
And subsequently, after it had been used as a transport, they converted it into a hospital ship.
Oh.
And its sister ship was the Gripsholm. And this one was the Kungsholm when it was under the Norwegian flag. So they did a lot of good service as hospital ships. I know one that I went on was the old Gripsholm. When I got wounded in Peleliu.
How long after Pearl Harbor was it before you actually were out at sea? How much time had passed?
We left San Francisco June 21st or something like that, and got to New Zealand in the middle of July. And then
Was this 42? 1942 or 43?
42.
42.
And then we immediately got aboard some Coast Guard transports, troop transports. And I got on the Hunter Liggett on the way to Guadalcanal. And so they were well equipped to handle troops. And at that time, they threw cargo nets over the side, and so you had to scramble down these cargo nets with 90 pounds of gear, including your rifle. At the time, we had .03. We had World War I rifles.
So they were old.
Springfields or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Springfield, they had a 5-round clip.
Okay.
It's not even a magazine. Was it automatic or did you have to
No,
for each?
old action.
Nice.
So-
Did you have a radio you had to carry too?
No.
Oh, okay. How did the radio?
Oh, the
what was
radio,
transfer?
that was it was set up so that 3 men had to carry it. So there were 2 pieces. Each went to one guy, and then the antenna went to a third. No. The antenna and the generator went to a third guy. So it was.
What was the purpose of the radio? Was it to pick up enemy transmissions, or was it to communicate back to
No.
the ship?
It was just. Well, I was in the artillery, so my purpose for going out with a radio and so forth was to go out with an officer who was a forward observer, and he would go out and fire rounds from the artillery and say whether, left so many feet and right so many feet, or that. In other words, they would call the shots.
Yeah.
And I did that a couple of times. And that was a case of going out with these cumbersome radios and calling the information back to where the guns were.
Did you talk in? Was it like a code that you used, or did you just talk over the air straight? Was there anything?
It's great.
Did you at least have like passwords or anything like that, or no?
So
No, there was not much, because the Japanese didn't have anything better either to pick up on us.
Yeah.
Eventually they got something better, and we did too.
I know you said you were wounded. Like, how much action did you see? Like, what type of fighting were you involved with, or was it mainly just doing the radio? I'm just trying to get a picture of what.
I was in the artillery,
Yeah.
and it was 105 millimeter guns, which were carried around by jeeps, pulled around by jeeps. And subsequently, after Guadalcanal, I went into the 7th Marines, which was infantry, but I was in a special weapons company
Oh.
and rode in a half track that had a 75 millimeter gun on it. I think you probably have seen them in old war movie things. They're half tracks.
Okay.
The back wheels were tracks, and they had regular front wheels that would you could turn them and so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah. So is that what made them the special weapons division? Were they more mobile? Like,
Well, they were platoons, and so 2 of the platoons had half tracks. Each had a half track, and then there were the machine gun company, which there were a couple of machine gun groups in that special weapons company. So that was the support of the infantry.
okay, because was there no air support at all? No.
Not that were connected to us. I think our Air Force were Piper Cubs,